What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're feeling great and lovely and amazing today, because I'm feeling good. And yeah, that's it.
So I hold my head up proud, keep my eyes up to the clouds.
All right, so on my Instagram, I had I asked people to send in questions about just me switching from a midwife, switching from a doctor, a OBGYN, to a midwife. And so I got those questions, and that's what this video is about. I mean, yeah. I just wanted to talk a little bit in depth about it and why I chose to do what I did, and just answer y'all questions because y'all asked them. So yeah. Okay. So a few people asked me the difference between a midwife and a doula, and then an OBGYN. So I didn't have a doula for my pregnancy. I started off with a OB, which is, obstetrician gynecologist. That's the normal doctor that you go to when you find out you're pregnant. They do your ultrasounds and just your checkups that you have to go through, starting every 4 weeks to every 2 weeks to every week until your baby is born. And then your OB is not necessarily always going to be the person that's on call when you go into labor. You can have someone else there that just happens to be on call that night. OB is pretty much the doctor. That's the medical part of it. They just assist in the medical field, as far as like getting everything prepared for the baby. I switched to a midwife at 37 weeks. The reasoning is because, for one, we had a lot of personal stuff going on during the time of my pregnancy. So when we finally got situated, I actually moved from city to city. So I was going to have to transfer anyway. I had wanted to do a midwife the entire time. So midwife is pretty much someone who's also like a OB, but they are personalized to fit you. So my midwife, pretty much where I went, they talk to you about your birthing process. They, ask you questions. They don't really give you a lot of like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. They kind of ask, okay, hey, you're pregnant. What do you want out of this birth? What do you want to happen? What's comfortable and what's soothing for you? That was very important to me because my last birth, I really didn't feel like I was in control as much as I wanted to be. So this time I really wanted to have more freedom for myself. So my midwife was a little bit different because they don't do like the cervical checks unless you ask them to. They really don't see the purpose of, forcing you to do that unless you feel like you need it. And they check, to see if you're in any pain. And once you get closer to your date, they ask you about your birthing plan. And so they ask like typical things for your birth plan, like who's going to be in the hospital with you? What do you want? What's comfortable for you? Do you want to try water? Do you want to try sitting up? They do all of that. And they write it out, and then they tell you the options that their hospital has. Of course, this was different because my daughter was born during COVID. So at the OBGYN, they were talking about inducing me because I was actually driving an hour and a half to get back and forth to my doctor, which I really didn't want because I got induced my first time. And so that's why my main goal was, okay, I need to go ahead and find my midwife because I don't want to do that. And also up there, my husband, I could only have one person in the room with me, but they were kind of working towards you would have to be in there by yourself. And I did not want that at all. So I went to my midwife. My husband was still the only person in the room with me, but it was a lot more comfortable. The midwife was a lot more understanding about what I wanted. As far as like, I told them like I wanted to be natural. They had different options as far as pain medication. They didn't just do Pitocin to force the contractions. They didn't just do epidural. They also had laughing gas, which was an interesting choice. I did not choose it, but it was an interesting choice to have. And they had no medication at all. So I had those options. And along with that, they were asking like, okay, do you want music? Would you like to be on all fours? Would you like to have the opportunity to walk around? And so I did get to do that. And if you watched my labor video, you saw where they actually had me walking around to try to, you know, get my body, see if they can get me a little bit further along. So it was just a lot more things that I was able to do with a midwife. Now, a doula is something I did not have. Doulas are trained to help the mom. So their main goal is to make sure that mom is comfortable and that they are the speaker between the mom and the doctor, the OB, the midwife. So they take your plans into consideration and they make sure that it is pushed through when you're giving labor. They're there for a lot of moral support, and doulas are really good when helping your spouse. They kind of talk them through the entire process and make sure the spouse or your significant other is there with you and that they understand what's going on, ways that they can help you, whether it's like, you know, hey, massage them on the back or hold their hand, or this is what she wants to do, so make sure you're here when this happens. And they're kind of like the one that's telling you, oh, okay, you can do this. Just keep pushing through it. Keep going. You got it. You got it. You got it. I did choose a midwife. As far as my labor goes, I was in a hospital. I wanted to do a home birth, but again, with like personal stuff, it was kind of all over the place. But I decided to go to a hospital this time, but it was a lot different. My midwife was there, and the only people that were really coming in and out of my room was just my nurse, the midwife that was on call, and of course when I was in labor, they had NICU ready just in case anything, you know, happened, which thankfully it didn't, but they were there just in case. So I researched water births a lot because that was something that I was interested in. This time was kind of crazy, so I didn't get the chance to do it, but it's still something that I'm always interested in researching and looking into. Birthing centers are a little bit different as well because of just the way that they are set up. As far as my hospital experience though, I was really comfortable. After I left the emergency room, they took me up to labor and delivery. And so we stayed in labor and delivery, and they made sure that I was okay. My body was doing okay. They came in and checked, you know, ran vitals and things like that before they moved me over to postpartum. My postpartum room was just a typical setup like any room. Your room has the little chair that turns into a couch for the person that's staying with you, and the shower and all of that. Even with the virus like going on, it was still a really calming experience. We had to wear our masks when they came in the room, but that was the only time that they forced us to keep them on. They were like, you know, you can take them off to breathe when we're not in here, but just when a nurse or doctor comes in, they always knocked on the door to let us know they were coming, and then we would put them on. They talked to us for a few moments, and they always came and they checked and was like, do you need anything? Are you okay? Do you want us to bring you ice? Would you like something to drink? Are you hungry? Here's the menu. Would you like us to order it for you? So overall, I had a really good experience with the hospital. Researching home births, whenever we decide to take this journey again, I will want to do a home birth just to get the experience, because I feel like it will be even more comfortable because you're in your own place. You can play your own music, and you kind of have that a little bit more freedom than you would if you were out. And I don't have to wear a mask in my house. So yeah. As far as my birth went, again, my midwife was very understanding. When I did come into an appointment, and she even noticed like my breathing pattern, she's like, hey, you're breathing a little bit heavier. The way that you're shifting seems like you're in a little bit of pain. So do you want us to check your cervix for you just to see how far along you are? She checked me and she was like, okay, this is how far along you are. If you need anything, you know, just let us know. If the office is not open, please call the midwife on call. When I did go to the hospital, I did call them and let them know, hey, I'm on my way. And so they were prepared and they were prepped and ready when I got there. They knew that I had called earlier, so they were able to better assist me as much as they could when my baby was coming out like she was. Overall, I will say my personal preference is a midwife because I'm very big on being comfortable. Pregnancy is, you know, can be difficult, and labor can be very stressful. But when you have someone who's willing to work with you, who's giving you the information that you need, and they are there for you specifically, and they're tailored to meet your needs, it's very important to me. OBs are great. You know, I won't say the OB that I did have, she was really great. She was very friendly, and she did her job perfectly, but I just personally prefer to have a midwife. I would look into having a doula, but I'm still learning about that process as a whole. So that's something that I feel like I need to study a little bit more upon. But yeah, so that's it. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. If you have something to say, put it down in the comments below. And if you have more questions or anything that you want me to talk about or make another video about, please let me know. I love sharing new information as I learn it. So if you want to know, let me know. And if you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel and hit your little notification bell like that so you can see every time I post a video. That's it and that's all. I love y'all. Your girl is out of there.
That's a wrap, that's a wrap, that's a wrap.